So welcome everyone to Thursday Night Yin. We're going to get started with a beautiful heart opener if you haven't already. Get yourself nice and cozy, nice and comfy. Place that bolster at the tailbone. Lie on back. And relax. Deep breath in and deeper breath out. Inhaling all the way. And exhaling. And really see if you can increase your lung capacity. Imagine you were being studied by a scientist or you were going to your doctor and they wanted to detect how much physical capacity you had with air in your lungs. So imagine filling up that tangible feeling of the air and then that intangible feeling of the prana, right? So, right, we can feel that in the corporeal, in the flesh, in the body. We can feel that as we exhale, being aware of the sensations of the inhale and the exhale. Allow yourself to go even deeper by really starting to explore the prana. As the prana enters the body, you might want to hold the breath for a moment or two, and then as you exhale, push to the point where you may even feel some cricking and cracking along the spine, right? Sometimes our bodies are like an old haunted house, and those floorboards where it goes creak, creak, just by breathing, just by stepping on the wood, it creates that sound. Same with our bodies as we breathe deeply, as we take that step by step, that process, just like squeaking wooden floors, the same feeling goes. We may get some cricks and cracks. And so our body slowly is becoming liberated, which is the whole point of our yoga journey. Whether it's yin yoga, yang yoga, core yoga, hatha yoga, vinyasa yoga, right? The yoga is still the same. Liberation through realization. So taking that awareness into the breath. That's all one exhale. That's just one inhale. Really experiencing that breath, right? Because the experience of the breath is the experiment for the scientist, right? The awareness that you're bringing to it as the scientist is as the experimenter, the empiricism of your experiment, and that's your practice, that's yourself. So again, you're watching yourself, you're watching the watcher watching, right? You're observing the observer observing, right? So you're in that seeing into the unseen, the seer, right? You're looking at yourself looking. And that's really important as we breathe, because that's really what comes and goes but never leaves. The awareness, the breath, and we sometimes say even love, right? Because love is that unconditional, right? It comes and goes but never leaves. True love, which we call self-love, which then manifests into a partnership love, which then ultimately is mirroring divine love, which is that non-separate love. Again, realizing that source in separation, there's non-separation. That's our yoga. So we've had a beautiful time. Let's take 10 last deep breaths in, deep breaths out to say goodbye to the posture. Really feel. Good. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful work, guys. Rolling your head side to side, twiddling the fingers like stars. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor and just do a couple tailbone lifts. So tailbone comes up, tailbone goes down. We're going to spend our first minute just moving our tailbone forward and back and sending that energy from the heart down to the hips and then back up to the heart and then back down to the hips. And of course, as it goes to your heart, it's always going to access your head. So then moving the head left and right and working through what we call granthis in the philosophy of yoga: hips, heart, head. And so we progress because these are the structural complexities of the body, right? This is where all the skeletal complexity lies in the hips. And then the next skeletal complexity rises up through the spine into the chest, right? Rib cage, right? Protects the heart, the lungs. And then that complexity goes up even higher as we get into the head and the face, right? So hips, heart, head. So we're just spending that minute to transition just here on the bolster, lifting tailbone up and down. It's a really subtle move, but it feels fantastic. Good. If that first posture didn't put you in a good way, this one is going to. So you can lay on your left or right side, roll on up with helping hands. Take that bolster, place it under your knees, and then lie back down again, once again, onto the ground. Good. And once you're on the ground now, just relax, right? Bring your hips up in the air, and then bring that bolster even higher up. So the bolster is going to go up, up, up to the lower back, and then a little bit higher up to about the middle back. Try and get it as high up as you can. It's hard to kick your legs back when it's high, so start with one leg. One leg kicks up, and then the other leg. Nice and easy. And then we're just going to hold our legs up. So I'm going to get in a better position so you can see. But again, just holding up here in a supported inversion. Okay, so again, just give you a little bit more space so you can see. There you go. So again, I'm just lying on my back. My shoulders are pressed on the ground, right? All the weights in my shoulders. My head can easily come off. My legs are straight. And the reason why my legs are straight is because I want to get that stretch in the hamstrings. So I want to curl my toes. That's why I step back a little bit so you can see on the camera. So legs straight, curl toes, and just relax back. If this is uncomfortable for any reason, you can always just place your hands on your thighs, or you can come into a happy baby variation, right? But for this variation, we're going to do supported shoulder stand. And again, if that first position didn't feel really good, this one's going to feel really good. They both feel really good. In the last position, you notice that tailbone was actually curving downward, and it wasn't supported by the bolster. Now it's curving in the opposite direction. So again, making sure that spine is curled as much as possible. That's the important part. So even here, you can bring your bolster a little higher up if you like. Right? My hips aren't even on my bolster, just my lower back. And the balance of the counterbalance in this beautiful V-like shape, or reverse Pac-Man. That's kind of the idea here. I guess it's not reverse Pac-Man, it's just Pac-Man in the other direction. Right, so just feel here, let the hips relax, let yourself relax. Right, the first minute in the yin is always to get comfortable. And then once we get comfortable, we start to look for that comfortable edge. How do we find that comfortable edge? Where is it located? Close your eyes and start to breathe. Inhaling deeply, long and peaceful. Exhale, long and peacefully. I breathe a lot, exhaling through the mouth to emphasize the sound. You can exhale through the mouth, it feels good, or you can control all the breathing through the nose, right? Again, it's one of those things that you have to learn over time, that 3-part breath, right? Head, heart, hips. So the breath comes in through the nasal passage, it enters into the lungs, diaphragm continues down into the abdomen. As we exhale, we relax, diaphragm flies up, and then again, feeling the chest release, feeling it all come out through the mouth or the nose. The breath is long and peaceful. Over time and meditation, the breath starts to become a little shorter and sweeter. And that's because your body is oxygenated. And so your mind needs less air, right? Your system, your nervous system is sending less of a signal for oxygen, right? Because we're, again, filled up with it. So if you ever get the sensation that you've all of a sudden shortened your breath, It might not be short, it might just be a little bit more natural from all the rich oxygen you've been taking in all practice. And remember, it's not just oxygen, but on a metaphysical or spiritual level, it's what we call prana. It's something that has existed on the earth forever. It's been breathed in by the breath of every living, breathing being that has ever lived on the earth, from the dinosaurs to today. That air, that energy has been encapsulated by the earth, and we're breathing in what the earth is breathing out, and the earth is breathing in what we're breathing out. So it's a very symbiotic, very yogic, very collaborative relationship. And as we move forward, we start to see and notice things like yoga taking over activities that, may have been our go-tos in the past, but have been starting to slowly been replaced by yoga. And the reason, that is because, we're uniting our systems. We're uniting our mental with our physical, with our emotional, and it's all being guided through the breath, because the breath comes and goes but never leaves. It's been with us since the first day of our lives, and it'll be with us till the last day. And that's the beautiful thing about the breath. It's always been there. Good days, bad days. And so the practice is really about integrating that breath into the body through each of the postures and experiencing your own presence, right? The presence within this, what we call the present moment. And so this is the sacredness of the practice, to practice your presence in the present moment. So let's do 10 more breaths here. Really enjoy the last few minutes of our inversion, breathing all the way in and all the way out. Right? That's your comfortable edge. You're there now, right? You're experiencing it, right? The comfortable edge comes through the breath, right? You find it by riding the waves of breath. The self is the ocean. The breath, every breath you take is a wave that rises and falls from the ocean. It's a moment to live up to your best self, to stand up for yourself. It's a moment to surrender, to be silent, to listen, right? We can make the choice in every moment. The breath shows us that choice. Alive to our living, awake to our waking. As we hang out in our inversion for the last few breaths, really just enjoying the process of, again, the inversion with our feet above our hearts. Our hearts have to work twice as hard to bring that, fresh, rich, oxygenated blood to the toes. And again, you might feel at this point maybe even a little tremor, right? That's your comfortable edge. Breathe into that. Start to explore where you can create that space in the body, right? Because dis-ease, right? If we free ourselves from the dissonance of the dis-ease, then we just have ease. We free ourselves from the dissonance of discomfort, then we just have comfort. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work, guys. Slowly, gently, start with one leg at a time, because your bolster's quite high up on your back. So again, just one leg at a time. Bring it down. Lift your body up in the air. Ooh. And we're going to come into our 1 minute forward fold. Good. And in our 1 minute forward fold, you'll get to go the rest of the way, because ultimately this is the same position as that. I'll demonstrate it for you so you can see. Right. This. I'm touching my toes, trying to bend my elbows to show you, but ultimately that's what this position is. Right, as we come forward, we're getting that little extra. Good, so relax your head, close your eyes, go inside, feel that forward fold. And remember, as we forward fold, one of the most important things about your forward fold is that we send the energy from the straight legs all the way through to the lower back, the lumbar spine. We've discussed it before. Stegosaurus back, which means you're feeling your vertebrae shoot out like white lightning outward, all the way up, like a mohawk, all the way up. That's why the Kundalini gets represented. If you guys want to quickly look up, right? That's why the Kundalini gets represented as these coils, right? You see how the snake coils upward, right? And it coils up through the spine, right? And that's our nadis, that's our energy, right? This feeling, straight legs, curve back, right? Lumbar spine moving in the opposite direction. And then finally going internal into the organs by dropping the head, gaze looking toward your chest, your belly, crown of the head to the floor. And when you get there, when you do all this, breathing your way through it, getting comfortable, getting to that comfortable edge. Once we get to that comfortable edge, now we can talk about the third phase, which is to relax. Because relax is a synonym for yin, right? A synonym for relax is in a way, in a Western way, surrender. If I'm relaxed, right, I'm not relaxed, right? If I'm relaxed, there's no stress, right? So it really is a form of surrender. With surrender, there's no fight, right? There's no, right? When we give in, we don't give up. It's a different energy. And so relaxation, right? Same as surrender, but different. A little different, but not too much different, right? I just want you to see it and then understand it, because a lot of people lose sight what yin is. Yin is deep stretching, absolutely. Yin is long held deep stretching, absolutely. But what yin is also is understanding that meditation can exist in all of these postures. And so the teaching is a teaching of silence. The teaching is a teaching of stillness, right? Use the yoga posture to go as deep as you can go, right? The words are just a river of silence that surround you, right? That's the teachings, right? But don't get distracted by the teacher. Don't get distracted by me. Don't get distracted by my asana, right? Don't get distracted by anything or anyone, right? Focus soul-heartedly on yourself. Because if you can give this time for yourself, whatever problems you have with others can be revised, changed, adapted, modified. Because the dis-ease has been discarded, right? We've gotten rid of it. So enjoying our forward fold, allowing that sensation of the yin to come through, really start to breathe deeply so you get all of that sensation in the abdomen, right? Massage your organs. Imagine going from the small intestines all the way up, all the way through the liver, through the stomach, even into your throat, right? Figure out how you can send light and love to your immune system. Figure out how you can send light and love to your nervous system, right? Supercharge yourself. Breathing all the way in, breathing all the way out. The breath of every living being that has ever lived. And just feeling that connection, that sensation, that pattern, that part, your part of the whole. At first, yoga can really appear as a metaphor for seeing the tree for the forest, much like a young person, right? A younger person or a beginner, right? Someone new to the experience, right? Sees the tree. They don't understand that it is a forest. Or there is a term that means many trees. And that's what yoga is. Yoga is many practices. And you start to understand through many practices, there is only this. There is only this presence that we call the self. And it is non-separate. So the tree is not separate from the forest. The tree is the forest. We just don't see it that way. You are the yoga. You just might not see it that way. But when you're at my level, right, my job is to remind you to not mistake the forest for the trees, or to not mistake the trees for the forest. Regardless, with this evolving consciousness, we always have to live in a state of remembrance, because the sweet is never as sweet without the sour. We're always accepting both realities, both possibilities, because that's the yoga, that's the union. It's both good and bad. We are all both good and bad. We assign that meaning. That meaning is assigned through our being. We practice being by creating this meaning of practice. It's very, very beautiful, and it all wraps within and around itself. So we're going to end this forward fold posture with a strong Brahmari. I want you to send all that consciousness, all those teachings into it. Send it from nose to toes, right? Send it from crown of the head to the tailbone. Make sure it bounces and reverberates off every organ, every muscle. It flows through all your connective tissue. Deep breath in. Good, nicely done. And let's come back up. Bring your hands behind you. It's okay if your bolster's there. You can always move it. It's fine for me. Just leave it there in that little space in between the hands and the hips, and just roll your hips side to side. One of the nice things to do this is look in the opposite direction. So as your knees go left, look right. As your knees go right, look left. Oh, just let it flow. Let it go. Spend that whole minute just enjoying this side to side feeling. And if you want to advance it, you don't really feel anything, forward fold. See if you can bring your forehead to your knees. Backward bend. See if you can bring your forehead away from your knees. Forward fold, backward bend. Oh, it's more mechanical, so let it go a little bit smoother. You don't have to physically touch your forehead to your knees, but that's how you increase, the sensation. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work, guys. All right, coming forward now. Beautiful. We're going to take the left leg and we're going to shoot it out to the left side of the room, just like that. Okay, so shoot the left side out to the left side of the room, just like that. Good. And now the inner leg is going to come toward a comfortable position to the inside. So what I like to do is I just like to cross my leg, and then I like to just bring it to the inside of my thigh. Just again, comfortable, right? Not touching anything. It should all happen on its own. And again, this should too. Sideways. Sideways. So if you don't know, the straight leg side is not where you're getting the stretch. It's actually on the bent leg straight. So how we get to see that and how we get to explore that, again, if you don't already know, some of you do, so you're already into it, but others, we're going to start slow. We always start slow. We always start from bottom to the top, right? And that's left ear towards the knee. And all I'm doing is just slowly, slowly falling over. Slowly, slowly falling over to the side. And gets to the point where I want to hold my leg and just hang. And when you do that, it kind of feels kind of weird and awkward, but then just move forward and back and feel. Right? Once you get it into that right side, you got it. And once you got it, take that right hand, place it behind your head. That's stage one. So today we're going to do it like this. Instead of doing the full half moon or bicep to ear, just take your hand, place it to the back of your head, right? That's your right hand on your right side, and lift that elbow up. Your opposite hand is holding the knee. So again, it's preventing you from falling too far down. You want to imagine you're going all the way up, 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 and then across, or down, or to the side. Open up. And then when you open up, close your eyes and relax. Very powerful to open up the side body and just close your eyes and breathe all through that side body, all through that right side, from the hip to the armpit. And again, if this is too easy for you for any reason, feel free to extend the bicep to the ear and start making your way towards your foot. Again, it can always be draped too, and you can go slowly, slowly this way as well. Lots of modifications. The important part is, do you feel it in the side? And I do. I feel all sorts of tingling. So if you look at my fingers, right, that's the feeling I'm getting through my side body. This energy, ooh, it's very tingly, right? It was accentuated with the arm. Oh. And again, that left ear is just making its way comfortably towards the knee. And I'm not falling over because I'm holding myself up by holding on to that knee. So it's really coming from the top. Remember, if anything gets uncomfortable, you can always come back to the beginning, right? This is beautiful. Everyone can hold. And that's the thing, not everyone can hold side bends, but if you learn how to do a proper side bend, like where we're doing it now, it's very easy. You're like, oh, this is easy, but you're gonna feel tons of sensation of the side. And then pretty soon, you'll be able to direct the whole thing down the whole line of energy. Good, close your eyes, go inside, feel. Find that comfortable edge. Good, 10 more breaths. 9. 8. Breathe all the way through your lymphatic system, right? So important, especially for women, right? Just how important it is to drain this whole line of energy. Good, 3 more. 2. And last one. Beautiful. Slowly coming up. Just bring that straight leg all the way around you and then give it a big hug. And then once you got it into your hug, find your way into your twist. Left arm this time. So again, this was the one that was holding the knee, right? Your other arm was the one behind your head, right? So now we're holding the knee with the opposite arm, and now we're twisting through. So when we twist, we want to lift up. Come a little closer so you can see. Good. When we twist, we want to lift up as high as we can. Feel that grounding, and then turn. And as we turn, you can walk that hand. And a lot of people talk about getting both sit bones to the ground, right? Of course, if you're just holding like this, both sit bones are on the ground. One is more than the other. That's okay, right? Bring it close towards you, right? Just opens it up. Notice the pigeon pose. Again, you don't want to be hunched over, right? You want to be stretched, heart toward knee. If you took core with me today, you saw that we did this move lots of times, right? Heart forward, and then you start to look back, right? In core class, we go heart forward, heart back. But now we want to go heart forward, look back. And again, breathe. It's also nice to have the bolster behind you. You can put your hand on the bolster. Lots of different adjustments, right? It can be at the base of your spine, push upward, right? I like to just find a comfortable place and work through the twists. So bringing it inward and then using that left shoulder to open up even more. And then the real secret is in the breathing. See if you can push your belly button all the way back towards your spine. And again, it's this breathing action all the way in, all the way out that is going to tone all the muscles of your body. It's going to free yourself of the fat, right? Because we're increasing circulation through respiration, through micro movements. And we're using these micro movements as medicine. We're using the breath as medicine because anything that moves ultimately has life within it, right? Movement is life. No movement, no life, right? Stillness is life encapsulated, right? It's almost as if stillness is anything but still, right? It's almost like you're moving at the same pace the earth is spinning, or moving at the same pace the sun is spinning, right? Ultimately, everything is in motion, so it's relative. What we call still is anything but still. It's more about balance, unity, centeredness. Good, 10 more breaths. That's 3. That's 2. And that's 1. Just feels so wonderful. Again, slowly, slowly come out of it. Wow. By transitioning over to the opposite side. This time, right leg kicks out, left leg comes in. Again, I don't have to do anything. I can just bring it in just on its own. You'd like to use your hands a little bit, but no forcing here. Just nice and relaxed. Good. Now we're on this side. Right hand comes over, so the same side as the foot. Bring it over to the right knee. You can keep your both arms, and then see if you can touch your ear to your knee. Right? That's the work. Of course, that would be really weird if you could just go all the way down, right? That would be super awesome flexibility. You could just every time touch your ear to your knee, right? But we're going there, right? It's just like touching toes, right? It's the journey toward it. Life isn't better if we can bring our ear to our knee. It would just be a whole lot more open in our bodies. Good, right? And that's the beauty of it. It should feel good, right? Again, we want to play music. We want to play yoga, right? It's the same thing, right? We don't want to do yoga. You don't want to do music. It's not a chore, right? It's like showering. It's a privilege, right? It's an absolute privilege to have warm running water and a sewer system to take it away and a treatment center to treat it so it can come back. It's an absolute privilege. And so same thing here. Feel your own privilege, right? Feel your own strength. Place your hand, right? Feel your flexibility, and then just grow into it. Again, making those modifications, right? You can also bring bicep to ear and just let the hand dangle, or arm straight and keep reaching for that foot, full extension. But don't let go of the knee. We're doing this one with the knee. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. The right ear is still moving in the exact place it was before, towards the knee. Beautiful side bend. Where? All through the left body. I always like to just do a little micro movement because I find micro movements just slowly, 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 not as, aggressive as picking a lock, but micro movements just slowly, slowly wear down maybe that edge, right? So I'm at my comfortable edge, I'm breathing. Anything more would be a little intense, or right, if I was forcing it. So I'm super relaxed here. I can teach, I can talk, I can breathe, I can feel, but there it is. Just from here to here is that comfortable edge. Right, so let's go further. Oh, I see my eyes squint, my nervous system gets involved, too deep. Right, so I want to ride that out with the breath. And then moment by moment, breath by breath, increment by increment, I'm winning that war. I'm winning that battle because I'm on both sides of it, right? I just have to get out of my own way. That's the secret to this all, right? You're only working against yourself here. You're working against what you've eaten today, what you didn't eat today. You're working against what you drank today, what you didn't drink today, right? But it's always in a moment. Never think about yesterday. Never think about tomorrow. When it comes to yoga, it lasts 24 hours and it starts now, right? So again, it's all happening now, right now. Now within that 24 hours, we need to practice again, right? To keep ourselves in that state. Good, 10 more breaths. Three, 2, and 1. Beautiful work, guys. Slowly coming back. Whoa. One side may feel a little bit more plasticky than the other. Just take that straight leg, bring it up, give it a nice big hug. That'll feel really good. With both your hands, right? Big hug. I like to crawl my hips, right? A little in, also helps adjust with the camera, right? So you can see. This time the left, right, is holding the right leg, so my right arm is free, so I can look over my right shoulder and twist all the way through. And the beautiful thing about twisting is you really get to feel that side body, right? As you experience the twist, right? The energy filling up, pushing on all the areas of the rib cage, and then you feel it collapsing, getting deeper into that heart center, not just the physical heart, but the center of the heart, right? All that energy. And again, all this connective tissue that moves through our body, right? Yogic scientists, an anatomy teacher, a yoga teacher who's an anatomy scientist, studied the core from nose all the way to toes, right? It's all connected, right? Our core is not just the six-pack here in our abdomen. It's everything that supports our spine. Huge, huge, huge commentary and conversation in the literature, right? And again, having a strong core, as we discussed today, is all about the balance between stability and flexibility, that which we call elasticity. And here in your yin, you're relaxing that elasticity. You're moving into the comfortable edge. You're feeling as if you were pulling on an elastic band, but you're not going to the point where you're breaking it or snapping the band, right? You're stretching the band. So your band may start only as this big, but again, yoga is a lifelong journey, right? You could only maybe touch your toes this much. Now you can touch your toes this much. You can put your whole hand around it. Now you can put your head through your legs. Now you can do this. Now you can do that. It changes with time, right? And so we start to stretch and stretch and strengthen and stretch and strengthen. And that creates this elasticity that is not only active and reactive, but also, long lasting and permanent. So it's active and reactive, but now it's also long lasting and permanent. Good. 10 more breaths here. And again, remember that heart is forward, right? We're not forward folding. Heart is forward, knee towards the heart. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work, guys. Slowly coming back to center. Bring your knees out in front and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Let it flow. Let it go. All right, so body's feeling really good. All right, we're sending that energy from the hips up through the heart and into the head. We know it's getting into the head because we start to feel the state or the experience or the effect of what we're doing. Noticing when you close your eyes, it's getting a little quieter, right? The oscillations of the mind are being stilled, as Patanjali says. Very important to our practice, right? The cessations of the mind, right? The body just being able to be in homeostasis or equilibrium. Right? The more we flow, the more we can let go. Oh. Good. Last week we worked on some beautiful kneeling postures. That was great. Today I want to take us into the full version of the splits. So we had been working on, a lot of people right now are like, ugh, don't worry, it's not going to be that intense. But we did the forward fold, so it's important to see if we can do it this way. It's a really nice stretch. Last week it was optional. This week we're all going to do it. So again, taking that bent knee, placing that bolster underneath it. Okay, so it just looks like that. And then coming into a deer pose, right? So the deer pose, basically, you can, basically just throw the bolster under your knees, just go to the side, or of course you can hop up on the bolster and go to the left side, or the right side, and put your left leg out in front. Perfect. So once that's there, that's great. Place the other knee behind you. That's the deer pose. That's the style we're going for. And then what you do is you shoot the front knee, shoot the front leg. So I'm going to try and get into a sideways position so you can see. So I'm in the deer pose, right, as you can see. And then I'm just going to lean back and then shoot forward. And once I shoot forward, that's where I want to be. So this is our first step. Okay, this is what dancers do. They drop down. I believe Michael Jackson did this move a lot. Very cool dance move. Sink all the way down and come back up. So this is the move. This is where you're at. This all the way down. And then someone would lift themselves up from here, right? Go down, come up. If you'd like to practice the full variation of the splits that we did not do last week, then keep following along. If not, you're going to stop here, arms out to your side. It's okay if your foot is out to the side, makes it a little easier. But if you can curl your toes towards you, bring your forehead towards down your knee, that should feel really good. You should get a beautiful stretch all through the legs, working towards split. If you're going for a bigger variation, right, a more challenging variation, but still staying into the, yin, come up and kick the back leg back. And that's it. You just hang out here with your arms. Forehead down, relax everything, and just like gravity, do the rest of the work. This position is a lot like frog pose. And everyone loves frog pose in yin. So we don't do it often, right? So again, I'm just lifting up my knee. Again, I don't like the feeling of my knee on the ground all the time. So I can just place that bolster there. That feels really good for me. Again, for you, it might be a blanket. I'm gonna just try and center myself a little bit more for you guys. There you go. So you can see. And then once you're in the posture, just relax down. We're gonna do 1 minute here, nice and strong. Okay, so I just want an exact minute. Want to overdo our splits, but as you're working on it, very important, drop the head, relax, let those hips open up, and breathe. Doing great, guys. Getting down to the last little bit for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Almost done. There it goes. Good. Slowly start to walk your hands to one side, right? Just allow it to close up. And then take that foot, put it on the ground. Okay, so I took the straight leg, I put it to the ground, and now I'm going to come into lizard pose. Right into lizard. So if you are on the ground at the beginning part, if you're here and you're like, how did he just do that? You just come up, right? Come up and come forward. You see how the back leg just shot out? Boom. And now I'm in lizard pose. Last week we did the split, or we did pigeon or the split. This week we're going full split, and then we're going to do some lizard. Again, just showing you how the practice evolves, right? The yin is anything but stagnant. Like, I think there's only like 26 yin postures. And how long have we been teaching this class for? Years, right? Going on 4 or 5 years. It always changes. It's always different. And that's the beauty of this practice. It gets a little more dynamic. It's a little deeper. Sometimes we're doing anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 minute holds. Other times we're doing 10 to 15 minute holds, 20 minute holds. All right, full minute here. Enjoying. Again, holding those hips open, aspect of the yin, right? Doing different variations, aspects of the yang. Can we have yang and yin? Absolutely. You can't have yin without yang. Beautiful. If you want to go a little deeper, take that outside hand, drop it to the floor, right? Drop the other one to the floor. Walk it in, right? Do what feels best for you. Again, that bolster can go onto the knee, right? That's always helpful. Remember, hips are coming down. So imagine, I'm going to try and emphasize, it hurts a little much, but I'm going to lift my hips up and then I'm going to drop them down, right? So I'm actually pushing my hips down as if I was going for upward dog. That's why you see me and you notice me do a lot of straight arm, because my hips are dropping and that feels good enough. With straight arm, that's perfect for me. Getting all the benefits. Good, a little bit different angle. Ooh. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more move left. Come back. Oh, bring that leg down again to the side. So the left knee is in front, the right knee is behind you. Right, make a little adjustment. Right, if you have a bolster, great. If you don't have a bolster, doesn't matter, because we're going right into pigeon pose. And dropping down. And just feel how good that sequence feels, from split through to lizard, through to pigeon. 1 minute each, right? Enjoying this sequence. Combination, 3 to 5 minutes, but enjoying each element, because really it's just one posture. Like straight, right? We went into lizard and now we're into pigeon. We're deeply working that left hip and how it's connected to that right hip, and working in these different ways really shows us that beautiful experience as we go from most active to most passive in this 3-part sequence. Good, deep breath in, deeper breath out. And again, I'm doing my pigeon with the support of the bolster. You don't have to. It just creates more. Good, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work, guys. Slowly coming up. And let's walk our legs all the way to the other side. Deep, 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 deep. And then once we're here, find our pigeon pose. Right, super easy. My right knee is in front this time. Good, and then all I do is lean back and shoot the leg out. Right, and then I'm on the side variation. Side variation, lean forward, forehead toward the knee. Good, next variation. I'm gonna flip the clock, come up. Okay, full splits. Work those hips towards the ground. You'll notice my bolster is underneath me, but I'm not sitting on it. I'm not quite there yet. If my bolster was there, right, I could put a little pressure into it. That might feel really good. And like we said before, if you have any issues with the knee, right, you can always just bring that knee up onto that bolster. Right? No harm, no foul. Don't need it, so I can just stay there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Walk both hands to the inside, to one side. Good. Bring that leg, that foot to the ground. Perfect. You're right and ready for your lizard pose. This one, I do feel the knee a little bit more, so I'm going to place that bolster. I always like to take lizard pose with the bolster under my knee and then lowering down or just holding here. Right? Depends where you're feeling. But the whole point of this posture is lift your hips up or back and then push them forward. then imagine they're making their way to the ground. When they're relaxed, right, when you can feel that little bit of a bounce, relax into it and breathe. You're making that permanent, lasting change in the body. Like to come down deeper, you can use the outside arm, the inside arm, and start to crawl a little bit more towards the center. Beautiful. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly, slowly coming up. Lean back, bring that foot in towards you, right? Knee to the floor, and push it back into your full version of your pigeon. And remember, that leg is just in a little V in front of you, right? The heel is connected to the opposite hip. Turn and face you guys so you can see. Right? And just lying forward. Oh, so good. Right? Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Full minute to just enjoy the pigeon pose. Beautiful. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful, guys. Slowly, slowly making your way up. Nice and easy. Shift side to side. Good. And coming up. If you're sitting on a bolster, great. We're going to stay on that bolster. Again, bringing our legs out in the front, cross-legged position. Find the heels underneath the knees, right? Or if you feel comfortable enough, the heels to the hips, tailbone, from the hips to the tailbone. And now we're just gonna move our elbows. Either way, whatever position you're in, side to side, right? We're just moving. And now as we move our elbows side to side, start to look left and right, left and right. And now close your eyes, look left and right for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, arms up. Stretch up, reach up, feel up. And then exhale, arms down. Good. Inhale to your heart center, arms up. Holding the breath, feel, feel, feel. Exhale down to your legs. Feel that length, feel that strength. Last one, inhale up. Up, 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 hold, hold, hold. And exhale down. Good. Lean right, lean left for 10. 9. 8. 7. Let the head fall. 6. Side to side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, very good. Uncross the legs. Again, come into a cobbler position. I like to do this one from the bolster today. If you choose not to, you can. Go to the floor, take your hands underneath your legs. And again, the further out you go, the kind of more ability you have to kind of get those feet toward your arms, those legs, right? The closer in you are, the more supported your legs are. See how they don't go down very far? But as soon as I start to move, they come down a little bit more. Wherever you are, you want to pull. So the whole point for wherever it is, you want to pull and get that nice stretch in the lumbar spine. So basically, when we started today, right, we lie down on our backs like this, and we opened up our hearts. Then we did the inversion like this. So that area on the tailbone being deeply worked here. I'll show you from the side. Good. So as we come in, underneath, and then pull. Crown of the head to the feet. Now again, it's not an aggressive pull, very yin. It's more like an anchor, a securing. Ooh, I can already feel it. It's pulling all through here, all through this backside, right? And that's really important. Let that energy flow, let it go. Very, very important. Imagine breathing all the way in. You're going to naturally feel some lift. Go with that lift. As you exhale, going down deeper into it. Inhale slightly back up. Exhale all the way down into it. And again, breath by breath, moment by moment. Right? Breath by breath, moment by moment. Imagine as you hold the position and feel that that energy is moving from the hips to the heart to the head. On each and every breath. Hips, 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 heart, 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 head, head, head. And then exhale. Right? And it could be the same to you. It could be the opposite. Be head, heart, hip. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you follow the flow of your prana. I can tell you what it is, but it's nice to experience it. As you inhale, the prana comes in. You feel expansive. You feel open. You feel outward. As you exhale, the apana kicks in. You feel downward. You feel inward. You feel grounded. So it's very, very, very beautiful to move between these two energies. Excited and inhibited, right? So sort of expanded or grounded in our terminology. And everything that stands in your way, right? Every thought, feeling, right? Belief, is just you getting in the way of yourself, right? The attachment is to yourself. We don't need to cut the attachment. We just need to accept the attachment. And by accepting the attachment, there is no attachment, right? By accepting the attachment, it's just there. And they teach us a lot when it comes to diseases. They teach us a lot when it comes to things that we cannot change. So we need to have courage to change the things we can, we're told, but we also have the acceptance to change, to accept the things we cannot, right? Or the serendipity to accept the things we cannot. But acceptance is the key. Because now we're able to change that which is not changing. So if you're stuck with something or stuck somewhere and you can't change the situation, the only situation you can change is your own. So that's really, really important to realize. And that's where hips, heart, head comes in. Because it's coming from the hips, it's coming from the heart, it's coming from the head. What is it? It's this. What is this? This moment. What is this moment? Right? Your presence. What is your presence? It's in the present. Where does the present lie? In the moment. It all goes around. Your practice is an exploration of your presence in the present moment. Good. Feel that breath. 10 more. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good, guys. Slowly, coming up, nice and easy. Take your time. Your back's going to feel extra sensitive. Again, just lie down on the ground, soles of the feet to the floor, and just relax it. Good job. Shavasana is a really beautiful time to integrate everything. Let it go. I just like to put the bolster there. It's not necessary, right? The bolster can be anywhere, just not on your spine. And the reason why that is because we want the spine to align. The only place I permit a bolster in Shavasana is under the thighs, right? Or for some people underneath the head, because they just need some help with that curve. And so again, if you need help with your curve in your lower back, you can bring the soles of your feet to your floor. That feels really nice too. Again, supporting this curve or supporting this curve. But again, it's not necessary. If it is, you've been practicing for a long time and it's sufficient, right? Just let yourself relax down on the floor. Full Shavasana. Right? And just let that energy relax down. And that's what really makes yoga so different than every other practice or every other exercise routine in the world, is because in the yoga, it absolutely 100% unconditionally supports the breath as the fundamental unit of everything, right? The breath is the first calorie you're going to use, right? Your heart beating is another one, right? All the natural involuntary processes of the body that keep us alive, that keep us healthy, right? They can also work against us, as we know. And that's why balance is so important. But what we really want to see here as we breathe and feel and connect is the integration of all that hard work, all that strong sensation, right? All that yin, right? Now we get to experience it for itself. So the greatest yin that we can experience is being here in this moment, fully present to ourselves, grounded, and literally moving into an experience of non-separation. And when I say you move into an experience of non-separation, is because you're already there, right? Everything you could ever want or be, you already have and are. Therefore, everything we need is in the apothecary inside of us, right? Every thought, feeling, and emotion is all we need to separate us from everything else. So without those thoughts, feelings, and emotion, if we can integrate all that thought, feeling, and emotion into presence, right? That's the gift. That is what they're talking about, right? The present moment is a gift. Why? Because your presence is awaiting you, right? It's a natural signal or sound or smell or sight. Yourself has a self connected to all 5 senses. Yourself has a sense of self connected to something even deeper than those five senses, which is the integration or transduction of those five senses, which is eyes closed, in your mind, in your heart, and down into the hips, which we call the gut. Right? We know we get intuitions, right? That's our head, right? That's our heart. That's our hips or our gut. We know we get these feelings that we just can't shake. Your Shavasana is not here to shake them. Your Shavasana is here to see what is real and what is not, right? It's your way to explore your feelings, good and bad. You can explore joy, you can explore anger. Shavasana is neither. Shavasana is everything all the time, always. Pure bliss, pure experience, pure being. It's just essential nature, right? Lying down, right? Can you be lying down? It's very difficult. If you asked everyone in the world, just lie down and be, right? Everyone could have the potential to do it, right? Of course, if they couldn't physically do it, they could sit and be, or they could stand and be. So it's just about being. The easiest way to go about being is by lying down. Let gravity flow through you. Let life flow through you. Let stress flow through you. When stress flows through you, it's pressure. It's what turns coal into a diamond. When stress doesn't flow through you, it's just stress. It's just pain. It's just disease. Right? So we want to free ourselves from that dissonance. We want to become that coal through the transformation. Right? Through the pressure, through the effort. Right? Change is a beautiful thing. Change can also be a scary thing. It is both. Right? Just accept the practice and now the accumulation of the practice as presence, which is what we call Shavasana, the posture. Let's do one Brahmari to clear, deep breath in. Inhale, hold the breath. As you hold the breath, bring your soles of the feet to the floor, rock your head side to side, keep holding the breath, draw your knees into your chest. We're going to do another Brahmari. Here we go. You always notice I go as long as I can because I want to flatten that spine as much as I can. And by that diaphragm relaxing right on the exhale, you can really push down each and every vertebrae. Good. Last one we'll do sitting up. So rolling on to left or right side. Let's come up to a comfortable seated position. Close our eyes. And let's do one Brahmari here. Deep breath in. Inhale. Mantra Om. With each breath in, just scan the body from the tailbone up through the crown of the head. Feel that uplifting, that expanding, that elongation of the spine, feeling that centered, that grounded, that balanced. And exhale. Feel that downward, feel that inward, feel that inward, right? Finish to the breath. And then it begins again. And sitting without having to think about sitting, lying without having to think about lying, is when you know you start to enter into the experience of what we call yoga, the experience of what we call meditation, right? There's the practice of yoga, there's the practice of meditation, and then there's the experience. And we are entering into that experience. No thought of it, right? You can hear me, you can feel, but there's a sense of freedom, aloofness. We call this in yoga kavalya, freedom, right? Freedom, liberation, moksha, right? That's a more nuanced translation. But aloofness is when you just feel like yourself and you feel free to be yourself without the need of connection, because the connection is everywhere, always. Let's bring our hands together. Namaskar Mudra, prayer position over the heart. Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace in your thoughts, in your lives, in everything that you think, are, and be. The light in me sees and shares the light in you, in love, with love, through love. Now that the practice of yoga is over, the experience of yoga can begin. May it last the next 24 hours as that non-separation abides within, around, and again, always from your heart. Namaste. Yay! Such a great class.